A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. I'm Ritwika Gupta. Today, as we celebrate National Handloom Day, I'll be in conversation with someone who absolutely needs no introduction. She's a fashion designer, entrepreneur, and I think the best person to talk to about handloom and textiles and much more, Neeta Lulla. Thank you so much, Neeta, for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
So, today is National Handloom Day, and I want to kick this off by asking you the significance of this day, not just for you, but also for the handloom weavers of the country.
It is a very important day, the 7th of August, as it commemorates not only the National Handloom Day, but also commemorates the start of the Swadeshi movement. And I think it is a very, very important aspect for our nation, because that's the first time when we thought about giving up and shunning all goods that came from outside the country and only taking up khadi and fabrics that were woven in our country. So having said so, I think our country has a very diverse fabric of the kind of weaves that are available, and every state has a very different and distinctive weave that is known, and every state is known for the most beautiful weaves and arts and crafts, and the ode goes to the craftsmen of this country who so effortlessly and patiently weave all these kind of beautiful fabrics in the most gorgeous colors. These colors are so innovative, and you rarely find them. And what's so beautiful is that all the weavers come up with a different weaving technique, which is kind of their own innovation.
Right.
And it is something that the kind of colors they select is their own thought process. So it's a very organic platform where you get some of the most beautiful, innovative color combinations. You get different styles that you will possibly never see again, because I think Handloom Day, to be able to speak about this and to be able to felicitate the weavers of our country is a very apt day for us. Also, I think on this day, the government comes up with new processes and systems and financials that are provided for this industry. So on that basis, I think it's a very important day for our country as well. And to sum it, I think this makes a very important cultural and economic fabric for the nation. So yes, it's a very important day.
Right. So picking up from what you said, the handloom sector, it has a rich heritage and cultural diversity. So tell me, how have you been inspired by the handloom textiles, for your own fashion designs?
As a designer, it has completely inspired me to see the beautiful fabrics that are woven, to see the beautiful motifs, and sometimes you don't even get to see these motifs elsewhere, and obviously, growing up, what inspired me were museums where I saw a lot of beautiful fabrics which adorned the garments of the Nawabs in that time. And it's absolutely commendable how, these fabrics have evolved. And I think as a designer, in today's times, I feel it also has the aspect of a very sustainable and a very ethical process that goes behind these weaves. And as designers in today's times, where we are talking about the ozone layer and we are talking about so much problem that is happening, we have to adhere to these kind of ethical practices as well.
Right. Neeta, our show, Leaders of Tomorrow, it caters to a lot of smaller businesses as well, MSMEs, and India's handloom sector, it's been predominantly, it consists of a lot of smaller artisans and businesses. Tell me, what needs to be done to really, help these businesses sustain and grow in the industry?
So, I don't know if you know, but the second generation of these weavers are all getting into white collar jobs, and they are kind of not wanting to get into their ancestral business, predominantly because the weaving process is very slow. The process of being able to weave a garment takes at least two saris would take about 15 days at a stretch, and the kind of per day salary that's paid to a weaver is absolutely minuscule. However, the weavers actually save that money and send their children to school to get educated, and the education promotes them to white collar jobs and to a lot of work outside of their own city or village. And that's why this has become a very it's becoming almost a dormant kind of a process. And it's very important that sectors and a lot of us kind of give this more support. And you're very right when you say that it is a very MSME driven sector. But I think what we could do to help support this is probably come up with newer design processes, come up with possible digitization and educating the weavers and their next to kin about how digitization is going to help come up with new ideas, new designs, to make the process of designing easier, the kind of dyeing that is possible, and ease of a lot of dyeing processes. So creating, I think, a kind of a handloom hub in every segment to be able to speed in and fasten this process. Also trying to give them some kind of financial support to pick up more newer looms or newer machinery to kind of make it a hybrid process is what I as a designer feel we should be able to try and achieve, considering that we have so many engineers in the making. I'm sure somebody could pick up a loom and say, yes, I can kind of hybrid this to make the process of weaving faster. So I think in the MSME sector, it is very important that we give them all the support possible so that the sector of weaving does not get dormant to extinct. And also the latest techniques have definitely to be looked into so that we can kind of keep this going.
Nice. On that note, I would love to hear more about your new collection, Vrindavan Symphony. What was the idea behind it and inspiration?
So my core philosophy is Indian at heart. And Vrindavan Symphony to me started back in end of 2015. So it's an ongoing collection that I do every season in a different format. I was watching some of the images of the love story of Radha and Krishna, and it just occurred to me that while watching it, it immersed me into this whole beauty and vision of something that was so lovable, so romantic, and yet so beautiful, and the color combinations were absolutely vibrant. And a lot of it spoke about the dance that happened in the Vrindavan garden at night, at day. And my first collection started with a lot of musical instruments, flowers that were inspired from the Vrindavan gardens, to kind of envision the love story of Radha and Krishna.
Nice, nice. Before we slip into a short break, here's quickly telling you all about Brand Surge, a new initiative by Times Network that lets you, the entrepreneur, reach up to 25 crore viewers of Times Network at very attractive packages starting at 1 lakh rupees. We at Times Network believe in empowering you, the startups, entrepreneurs and MSMEs with the right tools and resources for success. For more information, log on to brandsearch.co.in. On that note, here's taking a quick break. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. Today we're celebrating National Handloom Day and I'm in conversation with Neeta Lulla. Neeta, back in 2016, you showcased your Pethani collection, at the Make in India initiative. Tell me, how has the Make in India initiative, impacted India's fashion industry over the last 7 years?
So Paithani collection was specially showcased and designed for the Make in Maharashtra, Make in India showcase, which happened at the museum in Mumbai. And I think it was the first initiative that the government had taken up where handloom was to be an integral part of that initiative and to speak about it. And I think that was also on Handloom Day. And the kind of clothes that came out of it, which were very contemporary and global in their approach, also surprised me. Because when you see a sari and you kind of wear it and you style it and things. But when you use the sari or the fabric to structure it into a garment, it speaks a completely different language and has a totally new story. So yeah, that's how it happened. I think that the Make in India initiative that the government came up with about 7 to 8 years back, I think, has kind of created a great awareness for handlooms and has impacted the entire community of fashion, of a lot of NGOs, of a lot of communities that are available in our country, where the awareness to be able to do something for the weavers, to be able to do something for the craft, has gone on a kind of an automated system,
right?
And I think the initiative particularly brings to the forefront the quality of the weaving, the quality of the design, the artisanal quality of each and every design that we have. And also brought to the forefront the fact that we need to support these sectors. We need to definitely create a value add, because if we don't, we will not have them later on. And also to be able to, I would kind of relate this to the Swadesi movement, that to be able to be Indian, buy Indian and yet think global, where you can wear these art forms and weaves in the way that you naturally would, or to kind of communicate this in a very global format of structuring in design for a global consumer audience. And I think it's also all about creating an opportunity of income and economic growth for the country, which whereby would in turn help the sector and the clusters tremendously.
Nice. Neeta, the pandemic had a dire impact on the fashion industry as well.
Tell me about it.
What do you think needs to be done to make this sector a little more resilient?
I think to be able to avoid such a situation again, being able to create a more solid platform of income for them is very essential. I mean, I just don't want to say that as a designer that this should be done and that should be done, but a solution needs to be there, and I feel that the solution is to be able to create more awareness for the younger generation of design fraternity, for the younger generation of people who are working with sustainable fabrics, sustaining a better quality of work culture for them, so that they can work more diligently, with more production quality, I would say, because the commitment to their work is definitely there, but to be able to give them the platform to create more designs, and in turn create designs that would be at a cheaper rate, because the more you create, the cost comes down.
Absolutely. So, recently at some of these international events, we saw so many Hollywood personalities donning a sari or a lehenga, and it's really making me think that Indian fashion is gaining momentum on the international stage. But tell me, what do you think Indian designers need to do to really leverage this opportunity, to take their designs to a wider audience and, on a global stage? What's your take on that?
So, I feel what's very essential to be able to get handlooms onto the global platform is to be able to use more of Indian fabrics in your designs, to be able to speak about Indian fabrics. Today is a medium of digitization, social media. We're all speaking about so many things in our lifestyle, and especially as a design fraternity, when you have the opportunity, it's important that you speak about the arts and crafts of your country as at least at 20% of it on your social media, and work with younger talent to guide them and to kind of get them to use more Indian fabrics. On your e-commerce website, speak about the fabric that you're using. On your Instagram, speak about the fabric, the way it's made, and the kind of dyes that are used. I mean, it's just a beautiful expression of, creating a story for a fabric which otherwise would look just simple and generic. I think that kind of an exposure to be able to speak about your handlooms is very essential in today's times. I think also creating a very sustainable process of working. And here, when I say sustainable, I don't mean just using sustainable elements, but even sustaining the way we kind of structure the kind of prints and the kind of designs that come up in the handloom industry, by giving them more ideas of how to keep the design, because it's all from here that the weavers come up with ideas. So maybe trying to give them a way to document those designs is also a sustainable aspect that's required. Using ethical practices to kind of get the weaving, the dyeing processes done, the way they work, the systems in which they work. I think all these could, and then speaking about it, because today a lot of countries are using fabrics that are sustainable, that are used with ethical practices, and leveraging that to use and promote our fabrics.
Right. But Neeta, tell me, how do we keep the balance? Because today's consumer is very discerning, they want newer and fresher designs. But then, you need to also look at the environmental challenges. So how do you balance sustainability, with coming up with newer designs and fresher designs, and something that the consumers also want?
So I feel sustainability of design could come with digitization. Because then you're not using a lot of paper, you're not using a lot of materials that is, that goes waste after some time. So that is one aspect where you save paper, you kind of save a lot of ink that's being produced. Then, I mean, this is coming from my influence as a design process that happens, and I feel this is something that could kind of generate a lot of sustainable practices.
So as we are wrapping up this interview, the theme for our show this season is Ideas for New India. So tell me, what is that one big idea according to you that has the potential to be the game changer for the Indian handloom, textile and fashion industry?
I think what's very, very essential is being able to work with what in today's times, ideally, as a designer, I feel is using sustainable and ethical practices. Using ideas and designs where you can assemble it and reassemble it and disassemble it so that you can create a newness of design, and I think a lot of people, a lot of brands are speaking about it, reuse your garments, give it to us and we'll give you a new one, and restructure this one, and very openly speaking about sustainability of reusability of fabrics like denims and trousers being redone and reconstructed and structured. I think that's a very, very important aspect to create that circular economy.
Well, wonderful. More power to you. It was lovely chatting with you, Neeta.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
With that, it's a wrap on this episode of IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for watching. Good night.